back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see.
They're side by side. Pato Award to the outside. He'll take the race lead. Award around Newgarden into turn one.
Pato Ward snaking around, trying to irritate that air. Newgarden to the outside. Newgarden side by side has taken the lead in the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
Joseph Newgarden with a strong run into turn number 3. Pato Award makes a run, but he will not catch it. Joseph Newgarden goes back to back.
Plug it. What's the name of it?
Across the Bricks.
Okay. Nice.
On the Irish Connection Media Network. Welcome back. We're back. It is time for Across the Bricks episode something.
Episode something bigger than 1, smaller than 20. That's our best
Probably,
guess.
yeah, around there. We have no idea where we're at now. But
9
we're
or
back.
10.
We're back from spring break. And we're back in the studio. We got a race this week. We got Long Beach. We got Cars on Track today. Should be a good time.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I do like it.
It's been a while since I've watched a race because
Yeah, bro. It's been honestly
ago now. So
It's honestly kind of been a slow news timeline here in the last
Nothing
2
really
weeks.
happened.
Nothing really happened. Very few things. Most of it not really even in IndyCar's control. But we'll get into it. But first, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you're spelling donut,
Oh.
are you going DOUGHNUT or are you going DONUT?
DONUT all day because wait, I'm actually kind of offended that you would ask me this question because DOUGHNUT that's British.
It's
That's-
extra.
That's British.
It feels so. I bring this up because
I refuse to
right
spell
bef-
anything the
right
British
before
way.
we hit record.
Color does not have a U.
Yeah, exactly.
Armor does not have a U.
No.
None of these things. Well, actually, I don't know.
Armor it doesn't. I honestly have no idea.
But that's British, and we
We're
don't
not
do that
English.
here. This is the U.S. of A.
I bring this up though because my lovely girlfriend Olivia Taylor just texted me before we started recording. I had a donut for breakfast, and she spelled it with the GH, and I
She
thought,
spelled it British.
and like, at my first,
That's gross.
like my first mind thought was like, my first mind thought,
That's where they tend to happen.
my first thought was like, what is that? It was I
Yeah,
just
what is a dough? No.
yeah, like it looked weird. Nothing against her. She probably just grew up that way, but I mean it's just extra. GH just extra. Almost in any word
That's
it's used.
excessive.
Just not needed. But anyways, so we're back, we're here. How was your spring break? Where'd you go?
That was great. I went down to Florida. Hung out on the beach with my friends. It was a great time.
Had a good time.
You were in Alabama, right?
I went to Gulf Shores, Alabama, Fort Morgan. I do have a quick story from there. So we were down there. There's one gas station, and like Fort Morgan is out. It's out on like a peninsula. There's like one gas station within 30 minutes. So we filled up there a lot, and it's one of those gas stations that has like the TV screen going, and like you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the pump. And
I think I know where you're going with this one.
yeah, and it didn't have the little automatic hold thing on the pump where you can like flip the little lever down and then it'll hold it for you.
Oh, so you had to stand there
So
the
I had
whole
to stand
time
there and
too?
hold it the whole time. So I was just standing there watching the TV thing because every time I just forgot about it. So I didn't bring my phone. I just stood there and watched
Well,
it.
you're not supposed to use your phone at a gas station. Apparently, it's like a fire hazard.
You're not supposed to do a lot of things at
Yeah.
a gas station. People do.
But
Yeah. You're not supposed to park in like the gas pump things when you go inside and get snacks.
well,
but-
everybody does.
yeah, but
that.
everyone does that.
It's really annoying though.
But on that TV thing, I saw 2 different IndyCar ads.
Yeah.
I saw a Joseph Newgarden ad and I saw a Pato Award ad. And it was a lot of other things. But I was in the middle of Nowheresville, Alabama.
Yeah, I saw those as well. Been seeing them here, which I kind of expected to see here, but
Yeah.
not in Alabama. I wouldn't expect that.
It was I got very excited the first time and then I was like reassured the second time. But the fact that we're being, not that a lot of people are going to see it on gas pumps, but the fact that those things are being promoted on things like gas pumps shows the effort Fox is going towards to try to promote IndyCar and draw people in.
I gotta wonder whose idea was it to put it on a gas pump of all things. I mean, they're
Yeah.
paying money for
Also,
that.
I would like to specify it was a Long Beach specific ad. Like it showed the Pato ad and then the Joseph ad, and at the end it instead of like the welcome to the fastest racing in sports, it would talk about Long Beach this week.
Did it go into more detail than just flashing the screen up, or because I've seen some where they just like put
It was
the,
kinda just
the
like-
end card as
It was
the-
kind of just like tune into Long Beach this weekend, and then it
Okay.
flashed it up.
so they are changing them for
Yes.
each race. I mean,
But that means
that's kind of expected.
They didn't just send one file out to these gas station companies. They're like genuinely,
Yeah, they're keeping up with it at least.
they're
That's
sending
good.
out weekly
'Cause
different.
I saw one before St. Pete.
Mhm.
It was the same ad but St. Pete specific, and then Long Beach specific now is pretty cool.
With NBC, you would never see an IndyCar ad on a gas pump in Alabama.
No. I
So,
mean, you
like-
wouldn't see an IndyCar ad with NBC.
But yeah, it was
Until
awesome.
May 23rd or something like that.
Yeah, it was awesome to see that type of promotion just for Long Beach, not even the 500 or anything. And in such random and obscure places, it's pretty awesome to see. And really good for the sport. But yeah, spring break was fun. Tiring, bro.
Yeah.
I
still
expected
got
to
back into it.
break, and it was not break.
No.
I'm still kind of catching up on sleep after a week.
Thinking about maybe taking next week off, maybe.
I mean, this sounds
Another
like a good
spring
idea to me. But no, we got Long Beach this weekend. I'm not gonna lie, I have a very busy weekend, so I probably will not be able to keep up with it like on time. I got a soccer tournament.
I'm gonna have to catch up afterward as well, I think.
Yeah, I might be watching the race Monday on record.
Well, as long as you watch it before we record the pod, so.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the important part. So if you don't see a lot of posts on that across the Brooks Instagram during the race, it's probably because I haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers.
No spoilers, guys.
No spoilers. But yeah, I definitely do want to watch it, and I'm very excited about this weekend because it's obviously such a historic event.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the longest running events on the calendar. I mean, you got the 500, then you got Long Beach. It's a pretty cool event there.
I think I heard Rossi say
Really fun
once,
race.
if you ask any driver what race, they could choose one race a year to win, they'd say the 500. And if you told them they could win the 500, it would be Long Beach.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean, it's very similar to like the trophy there. If you win, you get your face or name, or it's like a brick.
Something.
It's bricks on the ground, and it's been going since I think the 50s.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very long standing.
I believe
race.
Mario Andretti won the first race there, so 60s. It's been there a while, so it's a good event.
It's a really fun track too.
It is a very fun track. I saw something really interesting. Will Buxton posted a video yesterday. He'd never been to Long Beach, and so he did a track walk with James Hinchcliffe, and he was shocked at how tight some of the corners were and how long the straights were compared to how short, like the little short parts between corners were. He was shocked at how insanely difficult of a circuit it is.
Yeah, you can't really tell too much from like the overhead views that we get, but I mean, it's pretty tight.
When you're standing out on the track,
Like, I've seen pictures from on track.
I mean, I'm not going to be like, I've done this before, but I assume when you're standing out on track, you realize how close the walls are to you and how much room they actually have to put that car in the right place and go side by side. And it's Long Beach is probably, I think, the second tightest circuit we would have on the calendar, aside from the old Nashville circuit, which was
We need to
just
bring back the
terrible.
old Nashville circuit. That was a fun time.
I was Norcas Erickson went flying lap 4 and still won.
What a great track.
Nashville Oval did really well last year too, though, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Although that Nashville track will be unusable again.
That's a shame.
Because in that parking lot they use for the whole paddock and everything is where they're building the second or the new Titan Stadium.
Yeah, they're building the stadium there, so they're not going to get it.
Yeah. Which will be really interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with the original Titan Stadium because they're just right next to each other right now. I assume they'll tear it down.
Yeah, they'll probably tear it down, make it a parking lot. I don't know.
Probably makes sense. I don't know. But it should be a very interesting weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays out. Maybe Alex Pillow will get like second place this time. I don't know, something like that.
Possibly. But we'll go deeper into that later in the show when we make our predictions. There was we'll jump into news and call it news.
We can call it news.
There was a story this week on racer.com. I can't tell you who it was by. I feel like I should probably go find that and give some credit.
It was Marshall Pruitt.
Well, yeah, we're going to guess Marshall Pruitt.
No, I just pulled it up. It is.
Oh, you did just pull. All right. Well, it was Marshall Pruitt. I feel like everything on Racer is
I think
Marshall
it's kind of
Pruitt.
just his website, though. Like,
But if you keep up with his website, if you keep up with politics around the world, the Trump administration in America has been putting tariffs on other countries. I believe baseline's 10%, and it kind of goes up per country, and that really affects IndyCar in the future because a majority of IndyCar parts are bought from European vendors. I don't know why, but why that is, but most motorsport manufacturers are just housed in Europe. Cough, cough, F1. Yeah. But so Ed Carpenter was interviewed during this, and he said him as a team owner is not too worried about it yet because they already have all their supplies for the season aside from emergency orders if they need anything, too many dampers broke or something like that. But he will worry about it next year when they have to buy stuff and if it's still around and whatnot. And he said it's something that everyone will have to adapt to, and it'll be interesting how it plays out. And he said it'll be interesting how it plays out, what impact it has on the sport, which is kind of what I wanted to jump into. We've seen a lot of one-off cars at times before, right? An Able Motorsports car at the 500 or a Dragon Speed car at the 500. It will become significantly more expensive to have an IndyCar in the IndyCar series now.
Just about 30% more expensive, probably.
Is that, yeah, roughly, given just how the tariffs are.
I think it's 34 in the EU.
Yeah, and if you look at, a year in terms of people already struggling to find sponsorship, Dale Coyne's really going day to day on a year if he has the funding for a car. Penske will just reach deeper in his pockets.
Right. I mean, there's so much money with the biggest teams. It's just going to be the smaller teams. It shouldn't
affect the top teams at all. It'll be the smaller teams, and I bet you next year, if this still continues, we will not see some one-offs at the 500. We might see Andretti pull out their fourth car.
Right.
Marco
just because that organization
still run
has so much money. Though.
Yeah, and we might see, Ray Hall might be able to fund a third or a fourth, like they're doing with Sato this year. He's doing RLL, right? I think so.
Sato should be, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, in terms of people coming in, like, I doubt Dale Coyne goes 3 cars if he tried again.
No, I wouldn't think he would.
Like, I don't think really there's very few teams. I think the lower teams and any team that's coming to do a one-off able to climb this year, even though they were offered because their sun races. It's just not worth it to spend all that money and possibly bump Jacob Abel out, who's kind of their driver, even though he's racing for Dale Coyne right now. So, just didn't work out for them. And Dragon Speed and all the other teams that have come and tried. I wonder if that's a thing where they're like, we'd love to do it, but it just financially doesn't make sense. And Penske goes, here's some cash.
Yeah, I mean, they could just put Penske sponsors on those cars, something like that. I'm sure we'll see some deals between the owners because, I mean, a guy like Penske's got to know more cars in the race does bring more entertainment. Like, if people are watching Bump Day because there's 6 guys getting bumped, it's going to bring more viewers. So, I think the teams
wild.
6 guys getting bumped. Hey, man, it could happen eventually.
I hope so.
But, I mean, they've got to understand that if they can get more cars in the race, it'll be more entertaining for fans.
Yeah, there's definitely a few things you can talk about this. One, will the gap from Penske and Ganassi and teams like that become larger than it even is now with Dale Coyne and those lower teams, JHR, having to spend all of their budget on just funding an IndyCar, and a lot less funding is going to go to R&D and just developing the car and making it faster.
Yeah, you could see the gap between the top and the bottom expand a little bit more, which wouldn't be the best to see, given that it's already kind of pretty obvious right now with the Ganassi.
There's the top.
Dominant.
There's top 4. You can kind of
pretty
top 5.
Obvious good teams and bad teams, and it's probably going to become more obvious. I don't know if maybe there's going to be more like the bigger teams are going to just start helping the smaller teams. I wouldn't think that's going to happen just because people want to hold on to their money, but.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely interesting.
We'll probably see the Dale Coynes and Juncos guys fall further behind.
Yeah. And will there be a struggle to get 33 cars in the race if this continues for the future of America?
There's plenty of rich people in America.
There are, but as we've seen, not a lot of people care about IndyCar, which might be the importance of Fox in all this. Because Fox, if they continue to grow the sport like they are and continue to make this a positive deal for them and IndyCar, maybe we can get some people who are willing to chuck in some cash, some sponsorship to help.
Yeah. If Fox expands the sport enough, then people will just come naturally, no matter how expensive it is to get that stuff done.
The other thing, so Dallara, the manufacturer for, I don't know a number, but it's probably at least 50% of what its main thing is the car.
They
the
make
body
the
work,
car.
they make the car, which is very important, obviously. They make it currently in their factory in Italy. But they do have. I don't know if they
have facilities.
They have facilities here in Indianapolis. I don't know if it's the full level of factory, but I've been there. It's quite large.
So they could,
do they think
maybe
do they think about trying to make? They also make the steering wheels. They make a lot of stuff. Do they try to make some of that stuff here?
They might just start using the Italy facility for other.
I doubt they make the cars here. I just don't think there's room. I just don't think they have the technology.
I mean, they have it specialized over there.
Yeah, but stuff in like steering wheels, and I'm sure they probably make other parts of the car, like pedals or anything like that. That stuff you could, I mean, it's obviously not as large as the car. You could probably make a lot of that here. So I'd be interested to see how they go about that. And I don't know, man.
So I don't know where Chevy does their manufacturing, but I know that
Charlotte,
yeah,
I think.
pretty sure they're based in America, and Honda is a Japanese company. So maybe there's
Although I think Honda built other stuff here.
they could build their stuff here,
That would make sense. I mean, Honda's a Japanese original, originated in Japan,
but they definitely have
they're
an American
global now.
branch.
Yeah, I have
So
no
I
idea
don't
what
know
they do with
if
development,
because Chevy does everything here, they're not going to have as much placed on them in terms of like fines or tariffs or something like that.
this
And then perhaps more teams shift to Chevy engines. I don't know.
okay. Let's put it again this way. We've been talking a lot lately about maybe a third manufacturer joining the series. There's been a lot of rumors. If this continues, I don't think there's a way that's a European manufacturer. It's gonna have
it's going to be like Ford.
It's gonna have to be Ford or Toyota. I know is Japanese, but they have a lot of branches here as well. A lot of companies like that. Like I do not see. Maybe is Audi? No, Audi's Japanese or not European, right?
Yeah, I think it's German.
But I don't see BMW.
You probably wouldn't see a European car
No,
just because they're not going to be very
like
in demand.
Mercedes, probably not.
Honda does manufacture in Ohio.
Yeah,
as
okay,
well,
that makes
so
sense.
They,
that explains
they won't be
the,
hit by that.
That explains the Honda Indy Ohio or whatever it's called from
Makes
Ohio.
sense.
Yeah, okay. But that just doesn't make sense for a European manufacturer to come over here and spend all that extra because engines are so expensive, and that would all get tariffed.
Yeah, it's going to be a much bigger
I don't know if I used that
percentage on
correctly.
that.
Tariffed.
You
We'll
could-
go for it.
You could probably do that.
But it just doesn't make any sense for them. So if we see a third manufacturer, it'll be a Ford or
It'll probably be American, yeah.
any other American manufacturer you can think of, which I don't see happening.
Yeah.
Ford's not jumping in IndyCar.
Ford is
anytime
pretty
soon. They're all
heavily invested
NASCAR.
in other places.
Yeah, I don't see Toyota joining IndyCar if they're based here. I just don't see it from a lot of these companies. GMC is definitely not doing it. I just don't see General Motors jumping in with that money. Honestly,
Yeah,
if
we'll see how it plays out, though.
if any company joins, if it's not, it might be like a sports car.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be.
Yeah.
I'm assuming at the end of this season, we're going to get a lot more information about how the series grew with Fox, and then probably a lot more advertisers and companies
100%.
are willing to be involved. We probably can't know too much until like the 500 this year to see how we're actually comparing.
So there's one more large topic associated with the tariff situation that is kind of the main point. That 2027 car that has been pushed back. It was originally 2025, 2026, now 2027. And obviously that they're making in Italy at Dallara. And there's a lot of research and development happening, obviously. And a lot of especially once we get closer and closer to that date, a lot of stuff is going to have to brought over here to test and have drivers. Do you think that gets delayed? That's going to be more expensive.
I think it'll be more expensive. I don't think it gets delayed.
You think you think Roger just pays it?
I don't think there's any like trade happening from Italy to here. That it'll just be one big cost when they buy all the new cars. That'll be way more expensive than before, but it'll probably stay on track.
It definitely doesn't
There's
help.
nothing delaying it. It's not going to be helpful, but it will be. I don't think it pushes it back at all.
I really hope not. There's still a lot of research to go with that, and honestly, there's been like leaked designs, but I don't think nothing's been confirmed, and I don't really know.
Well,
if they
league
know where
design
we're
at this
going with
stage,
it.
they just have been redesigning the whole thing. It's going to change.
There's a lot. I mean, IndyCar have had this same spec model since 2014, or 13, around there, which is over 10 years for a car like this is a long time for professional motorsports. So NASCAR, I think they're usually around every 8 years they're getting a car.
Obviously,
and
F1 regulations are
every single
changing,
year.
yeah.
And you've seen it a lot, especially since COVID, that a lot of these cars, it's different now with the hybrid, obviously, and the aeroscreen mess some things up as well.
We've had changes, but like the base chassis has been the same for
Yeah.
however long. The
But
car isn't designed for the things to be added to it as well.
but courses like the Indy Road Course, I think that's the main one I've heard people talk about, especially because they raced here twice a year during COVID. Teams just got to figure it out. Like, there's practice is
Yeah.
kind of optional. I mean, you're doing it to dial in your car.
You don't need too much information,
but you're
about
not
the,
learning.
the permanent tracks here. Like,
You-
a new
it-
car maybe makes it, shakes
Yeah.
it up a little bit. The smaller teams get into the mix.
Like, everyone knows it's a red race. Like, right, there's and that because of that, that's why so recently
We
we
got
really
setup sheets nailed down.
exactly.
like-
That's why we've only seen top teams win recently, because when all teams have all the information,
when everybody has everything figured out.
Penske, Ganassi, or Andretti or McLaren's gonna win it.
Yeah, the guy who has just a 5% edge on the other guys is going to be enough to win by
Exactly.
a mile.
Which is why Polo's killing everybody. But yeah, so that tariff situation definitely isn't helpful to IndyCar, and there are some effects that could make it quite difficult and definitely more expensive to have an IndyCar program, which will be definitely very interesting. And hopefully it doesn't hinder too much, especially with the rate that IndyCar is going right now. It'd be pretty unfortunate. But with Long Beach this weekend, we'll jump into the Long Beach predictions. All right, Justin. Long Beach this weekend. You want to jump through our fantasy teams real quick, actually?
Yeah, we can run through fantasy real quick. I can tell you I had a lot of guys to sign this week.
Did you actually? I think my team's mostly the same.
Yeah, I changed a lot up, I believe. I think only Pato and Polo stayed from last week.
I added 2 drivers. All right, you want to run me through your 6?
So Pato, Polo, they're still there. Polo's contract ends in 3 races now, so that'll be right before the 500.
So you do not want Polo for the 500?
I don't want him for the 500.
Okay.
I don't think his first oval win's going to be there. I mean, he'll prove me wrong, whatever. Pato,
I just think he's going to.
I have him
be in
for
the
2
top 10.
more, so I can get him at the 500. Then I have Kirkwood for 4, which takes him through the 500. Erickson for 2. Armstrong for 2 more. So I guess he stayed as well, sorry. And Ilott for 2. I didn't really know. I was just kind of throwing stuff out there, seeing if it works.
So
I think he'll do okay.
I went Polo for 3. So I have Polo for 1 more race. I had 3 races on his contract. That means he'll be done here. He'll take
That'll be
Barber
off, back for the GP.
and then back. I want him for the GP. And the only reason, so typically last year I probably would have gone Rossi, but Pato, Newgarden, they're both just so dominant at the 500, and they're both in Chevys. The only reason why I'm going to take Polo this year for the 500 is because we do not know if it's a Honda or a Chevy year with the hybrid for the first time at the 500. It's such a toss-up of who's going to figure that out. And from what I've heard from a lot of drivers, the hybrid is not that much. Like, it's not a big thing in terms of, like, it's not a game changer. It's just helpful. That's why when teams' hybrids were overheating during the race, they just kind of left it at thermal. But I think at the 500 it could be, especially in qualifying, because it's so close.
Yeah, I mean, in qualifying, it's going to be probably the biggest impact. During the race, I don't know how much it's going to change it. Maybe there's, like, it helps, like a draft sort of situation. but
Fuel
less.
saving as well.
I don't know how
We've
much
seen-
fuel it really saves.
It saves a lot
It
because
takes energy out of the car to charge the hybrid, so you're losing that somehow.
Well, no, it takes energy out of the car to charge the hybrid, which is pace. But then when you're deploying the hybrid, it doesn't use fuel, so it saves fuel in that way.
You're losing pace. It's the same sacrifice as if you just lift off the throttle, though. But anytime you are lifting off the throttle,
is when
it's
it's
going to
charging.
charge, but you tend not to.
So, at the 500, yeah, you tend not to. I guess that's
Unless there's
I
traffic.
mean, you're lifting during the race. You're lifting going into the corners. Qualifying, not really. Which is why it's going to be interesting during qualifying, because it's going to be team to team. Is the deployment worth the lift?
I assume they're just going to start with it charged and then deploy it one time and then you're done.
I think that's how it's got to be.
You just charge it on your out laps, your warm up laps there.
'Cause
And I don't think you can afford to sacrifice
Although
charging the hybrid. I mean,
there is
practice
in
will
qualifying
be very
there is a little lift in the short shoots though.
only on the last 2 laps, I believe.
Yeah. There's just
Like the first lap, you're flat.
Yeah, the tires aren't good enough in those last 2 laps. So does that help? Does that make up for the lift? Probably part of
Well,
it.
Here's the thing: you make a tiny bit of a lift in the short shoot, it gives you a tiny bit of charge, and it's at the end of the lap, so you
But you
can't
can
really
also-
deploy it.
That's the big thing. You can change how much you want it, how fast you want it to charge. So some teams may have it fast and they'll get 30% of that lift and be able to deploy it. Some teams will have it at almost nothing, so they'll get like 4%, but that slows
But
down
they
the
don't
car
lose
less.
as much pace.
Yeah. So it'll just be different. And the
think-
answer to that question might be in the middle.
Qualifying is going to be really interesting to watch. It's going to be a lot of
I'm very
science
excited
going on from the teams
to watch
in
the
practice.
broadcast. I'll be there, but I'm very excited to go back and watch the broadcast and see those stats they usually have up on the screen
Yeah.
and who's doing what. And honestly, I might fall down on my phone on the IndyCar app while I'm there.
I don't know how much they're going to tell us about their hybrid settings because I don't. A lot of people probably don't care, but also teams might want to keep that secret.
Hinch is in the booth. We'll figure it out. If you watch practice, you'll figure it out. Although now I realize I might actually be working qualifying.
I mean, you can just watch back.
That'd be sick. I'll be up there listening to Hinch talk about it, hopefully. But so my team, I got Pelot. I got Newgarden for 2 more races, so that'll put him. Do I actually have that correct? Oh, I have Long Beach and Barber for Newgarden.
GP
And then I'll
off
take the
makes
GP
sense,
off,
yeah.
get him back for the 500. And then I have Kirkwood for 1 more race. Definitely want him for Long Beach this weekend. Andretti's been dominant there a lot in the past. I'll take Barber off with him. And then I'll have to make a decision. I think you can wait till the race to set your fantasy team, so he might be one of those guys that I wait to see how practice is going.
Yeah, I believe the lockout is like noon on race day or something like that. So
Yeah.
you should be able to change it up after qualifying. But
Yeah. And then I've brought Marcus Armstrong back this week.
seems like a good pick.
We've
there.
got 3 races out of him. He's my talent driver, the little 2 points.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I have Ericsson this week for double points there.
That's actually a really good pick in an Andretti car.
I don't know. He's been like
Okay.
P6, P7. I
Yeah.
think maybe they'll do slightly better this weekend. So
Hopefully. But no, Ericsson, I've got him for 3 more races. So that's Barber, Long Beach, GP. I have him off for the 500. Or, I'm sorry, Armstrong. Armstrong, he's first 500 last year, and his car failed in lap 7, so he's just got no experience.
no experience.
I think he could be there in the future. Could be good there in the future. It's just not the year. And then Rasmussen, I've got him for 3 races. He's been doing pretty well so far in that ECR car.
3 races means no 500.
3 races means no 500. Rasmussen just hasn't been
Yeah,
fast
he
there in
hasn't.
his time in IndyCar.
He
It
didn't
is
race
an
ovals
Ed
first
Carpenter
season.
car, but I think you can make that sacrifice there. And then I have VK for 2 more. I'm going to be looking at him for a low-end value there for the 500 and a Dale Coyne car. Although those cars might be slow, we'll see what he can do with it. This is going to sound terrible, but I'm kind of praying on Daly's downfall for the next 3 races, so his value goes down because JHR cars in the past have been semi-fast at the 500. Canapino had a good run going
Just
last year
buying for
before his Chevy failed. And Connor's going to be able to get that done, as we know.
Yeah.
But that's our fantasy teams for the week. I haven't even made predictions yet, so I'm making these on the fly.
Yeah, I kind of am as well. Should we go
Um,
to poll first?
we can go to poll first.
I'm thinking it's going to be Andretti. I'm thinking it's probably going to be Colton Herta, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be an Andretti car.
Which seems dumb to say that he's going to be on pole and then not have him on my team, but
Yeah,
I think I just couldn't figure out the numbers there.
I don't know, man. I'm going Kirkwood.
You're on Kirkwood.
I'm
for
going
pole?
Kirkwood.
All right.
He's just been so dominant there in the past.
Yeah, I mean, he won from pole 2 years ago, so I
Yeah.
mean, it's not a terrible pick. He didn't do too well last year. Not too bad though.
All right, so who are you going? I think we were talking before. You said Pelot.
I think Polo for the win, just because I don't know. That seems right.
Man,
He's
I told
probably
you this.
just gonna
I told
win.
you this before we started. I'm just gonna go Pelot till I die for first place until it fails me. Because, I mean, you never know.
I mean, I'm secretly hoping it fails us like this weekend. That'd be great if we get a different winner.
Oh, I totally want it to
I
fail,
mean,
but who
if
knows?
if he wins the
Bro,
first
if he wins every race to the 500, I'm picking him for the 500. I don't care. I'm just
yeah,
keep-
I'm
deny till you die. I'm just going for it. But so I also have Pelot going first. Just told you I'm just going for it. Who do you got second?
Second, I'm probably going with one of the Andretti guys, one of the young guns. Probably put Colton second.
Yep.
He doesn't often finish second though. He normally crashes out trying to get first. But we'll put him second and probably go third. Kirkwood. I don't know, something like
I
that.
went Kirkwood second. You're going third Kirkwood. I'm going third Fro.
I'm thinking Newgarden's gonna come back though this year, and be on the podium. So I'm contemplating putting him there instead of Kirkwood.
Let me know if you want to change it. All right, who's your biggest mover?
Biggest mover, Scotty Mack.
You don't think he's going to qualify well?
Yeah, I think Penske's been pretty bad qualifying.
They have been this year. That's something we haven't talked about a lot.
Biggest mover is just a guess, though.
It is because you don't know who's. It's typically the one dude who didn't qualify.
Yeah,
very
it's
well.
the guy who gets unlucky but normally finishes top 10.
Yeah.
And then you just, if you snipe that guy, you get the biggest mover. Because wasn't it like Power first race and then?
Yeah, it was Power. It was Potter first race, Power second race.
Yeah, those are both guys that you expect to be at the front.
Yeah.
And if they have a bad qualifying, they're still going to be at the front.
I'm really contemplating Christian Lugard in my top 3 because he's very good on street courses.
He could be up there. And didn't he actually do this race with McLaren last year? Or did they already bring Teddy Porkchops in for that?
No, that was Callum Ilott, buddy.
Sorry.
No, Christian Lugard's been at RLL.
Yeah. No.
But Callum Ilott as well is very good on street courses.
How did I do that?
I don't know. It's all right.
I think Teddy was in the car at this point, though. First race, Long Beach.
Give me Rossi for biggest mover.
Rossi, biggest mover?
Yeah. Going Rossi, biggest mover.
I think he'll be top 10 this race. I don't know where he'll qualify, though.
They just haven't been that good at qualifying.
He'll get like P9.
Street and road courses, street courses, road courses, ECR is decent. They were a good weekend last.
Street courses not
in the
too
top
bad.
6 last weekend, but street courses just is not ECR's strong suit in terms of qualifying. But he's a really good driver, and I think he can do it. All right, you want to run into Fight Club to end it? All right, Justin, we've got our March Madness bracket still rolling. We had put the Power Larson up on a vote last week. 90% win for Power.
90%. That is pretty big. I honestly would not expect it to be that. What was the vote numbers there?
I can check if you give me about 10 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can.
But I would expect it to be much more even split. I mean, I know you and I were kind of going back and forth about it, like Kyle Larson, NASCAR.
Yeah, it might be because the really funny picture I put up of him is...
Doesn't make him look the strongest?
No, it's a picture of him with a little kitty NASCAR bag on because I found it funny. And the picture
versus the double bird Will Power.
The picture of Power is with the double bird, but I put 2 black circles over his fingers.
I see.
And we went on this one. Wait, let me click the button. I can't even count that. 9 votes for Power and 1 for Larson.
To that one guy, sorry for your loss. I think it was a decent choice there. But
yeah,
so
not bad. But
what are we looking at today on the left side of the bracket here?
On the left side of the bracket here, we got second round. We'll go first matchup, Colton Herta versus Graham Rahal.
I'm going to say Colton Herta, personally. I don't know what you're thinking. Just because Graham's a little bit up there in years.
Colton's so, young.
Yeah.
But so reserved. But he's got drumsticks.
Yeah, I mean, drummer's got strong arms.
Yeah, no,
I think Graham Rahal is just...
it's the age factor there.
The age factor, for sure.
I don't think Colton's going to go deep in this. He's just... Rasmussen and Rahal were just too easy matchups.
To be clear, he's not old, so nobody gets mad at me for saying, a 40-year-old guy's old. He's just...
Graham's up there in age in terms of IndyCar relevance.
If you put a teenager against a 40-year-old guy, the teenager's younger, probably more athletic.
Now we have 2 old heads, Marco and Elio. I'm taking Elio here.
I would also take Elio there. The only thing I'm considering is Marco might be a little heavier, but I think Elio is probably the pick.
It's not. Yeah, I just don't see Marco as a fighter.
Yeah, he's a real friendly guy, I feel like.
Yeah. All right. Scotty Mack or Kiffin Simpson?
How did Kiffin Simpson move on?
He beat Dixon.
Oh, okay. Beating up on the elderly. That's not very nice.
Not very
okay, yeah, I'm going to take Scotty Mack for sure.
Yeah, I think Scotty Mack's the move here. He's, Aussie. Well, is he from New Zealand? Yeah, I think he's from New Zealand. It's kind of all the
He's a
same thing.
Kiwi, yeah.
Yeah, they fight kangaroos over there
They're-
all the time.
Yeah, kangaroos all the same.
This is the one we're putting up to a vote.
What is it?
David Malukas or Pato Award?
All right. I mean, if it goes up to a vote, my pick there is Pato.
I'm taking Pato, but I can see the argument for David.
I mean, the two young guys going.
I mean, he mountain bikes. Like, I hope
He's
he
not very
doesn't
good
mountain
at it,
bike anymore.
apparently.
No, he's not very good at it. But no, I'm going Pato there. But I think that's our vote this week. It's just I see the argument for David Malukas. I do, and
I think you.
with both of them, I have a lot of funny pictures to pick from to post on the Instagram, which makes my job really easy.
actually
With Kyle Larson, I had to
great
dig
point
deep.
there.
I found that picture on like his Facebook, bro. It was
When you have to get to Facebook, things are going very wrong in terms of research.
yeah, I was on a deep dive there. But yeah, that's our Fight Club picks for this week. We had Herta moving on, Elio, McLaughlin, and then we'll put that Pato Malukas pick up on the Instagram. See what y'all think. Please do come respond. Tell us what you think about the Fight Club this week, and if Pato's going to be David.
Is 10 votes a record high, Wayne?
I believe 10 votes is a record high. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, we did. We do have a lot of people checking in, and there were a lot of people who are Cathedral students who have responded that I'm like, oh, you're an IndyCar fan? I didn't even
sweet.
realize. So, thanks to you guys. Hopefully you are listening and not just following the Instagram. But
We'll take anything we can
we'll
get.
take
though,
anything we can
to
get.
be fair.
But thanks for listening to. We don't know what number it is, but this week, we'll be back next week at some point with,
Probably a bunch of incorrect predictions.
yeah, yeah.
And my fantasy team will not continue to be as good as it has been.
Yeah, Justin. Oh, yeah, you want to get
I'm
that
gonna-
stat? What were you, third?
At first in our league, fourth in some other one.
In Hinch's, like,
Yeah,
1,200 person league,
yeah.
weren't you third?
I believe fourth, but yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
Justin's
I'm
just
not going to stay
insane.
up there. Don't worry. I'll probably get 0 points.
I have
this week.
faith in you. Well, anyways, thanks for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back next week with Long Beach recap. And is Barbie the week after?
I hope so.
I have no idea. If it is, we'll talk about that. And if it's not,
We'll talk about it the next
we'll
week.
probably talk about it still. But anyways, have an amazing day, night, morning, wherever time of day you're listening to this. And I appreciate you taking the time to spend
Yep.
this 37 minutes with us.
See you next week.
See you next week.